Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Maya Luisa, and in today's video we are going to be talking about the divine feminine energy when it comes to marriage and motherhood. This is a very juicy topic, and I'm so happy it was brought to me by one of my Instagram followers in my stories. And so here you are, here's your video, and it's a really juicy topic. I'm glad that she brought it up because on these internet streets right now, there is a lot going on. There's a big conversation when it comes to the divine feminine and divine masculine energy, and the conversation is very shaming of women who are showing up in their masculine energy. It's very shaming of women who show up in their masculine when it comes to dating and romance and relationships, and women need to be like this and soft life and all that good stuff. And I feel like we need to talk about this. The reason why we are showing up in our masculine energy when it comes to love and it comes to relationships and comes to relating to men is that it's oftentimes a response to a trauma. So that means something happened to us when we were a little girl, or something happened to us in the past where our masculine energy had to come forward. It had to come in that moment to protect us, to keep us safe, and to regulate our nervous system. But what happens is that trauma then is sticking to us and it lives in our body. And so as we're moving forward in our journey on this lifetime, things will trigger us and we'll go right back into that masculine energy. Oftentimes it's subconscious. And I feel like when you tell women, just surrender, just be free, just be soft, just be in your feminine energy, and you can't access it because you're responding to a trauma that happened to you, there's so much shame in that. There's so much guilt. There's so much, am I damaged? What's wrong with me? Why can't I just let go? Why am I stuck in my mind when I'm around a man that I like? All of those things. And so I think that we need to add to the conversation the ways in which we can access our feminine energy if those things arise, and the ways in which we do regulate our central nervous system so that we do have access to the parasympathetic nervous system, which is rest, digest, which is feminine energy. So I will give you an example. Let's say as a little girl, God forbid, but it happens. Let's say as a little girl, your dad abandoned you. Like he just left. And so your whole life, or maybe in your adult life, you finally get into a relationship. If your partner says, hey babe, I'm going on a business trip, you might start freaking out because that little girl inside needed to come into her masculine energy. She needed to protect herself. She needed to regulate her nervous system. And all of these flood of feelings might come back. You might be thinking, is he going to leave too? Is he ever going to come back? Maybe he won't. And so you might subconsciously sabotage the relationship. You might break up with him, or you might start doing the most. Like it shows up in different ways for different people. Some people, it'll show up as, I don't want you, I don't need you, because the thought of them leaving is too much, so you just end it right there. And even if he's just going on a business trip, you might subconsciously not be able to handle that. Or it could show up as you doing the most to make sure that that he loves you, and that he knows that you love him, and that he comes back, and then you're calling him constantly because you can't bear the thought of this man leaving and never coming back. So it shows up in a variety of ways. So that was just one example. But I just want you to know that if you are showing up in your masculine energy when it comes to dating and relationship, it's a response to a trauma, and it's okay. There are ways that you can heal that. The first thing is, if it's a big trauma response, you might want to go to therapy and just talk it out with a therapist for a period of time to get to the root of why you're showing up that way, especially if you had some serious trauma happen to you in your lifetime. We all have trauma. We're all working through it. But you know, that's a really great option to work through with a mental health professional. In addition, I highly recommend that you do some body work. Why? Because when you're doing body work, when you're doing somatic healing, when you're doing anything with the body, when you're regulating the nervous system on a consistent basis, when you're able to heal the central nervous system on a regular basis through meditation and through different forms of body work, what that does is you're able to regulate your nervous system, and you're able to actually release the trauma as it is stored in the body. And that is key. That's a major key. So I just wanted to get that out the way because I feel like we need to talk about that. So if you are showing up in your masculine, don't feel bad. Don't feel shame. It's natural because your body is designed to keep you alive. And so now that you know this, now you can take the next step and you can thrive and you can heal yourself so that you're able to truly surrender. Because what happens is, what I'm seeing a lot of is that women who are unhealed and they're trying so hard to access their feminine energy, it then comes into a sort of performative thing where it's like wearing pink or whatever, but it's not truly authentically her feminine expression, authentically deep inside her truth and the power and the presence of her feminine energy. It is performance of what she thinks it should be. Because sometimes that healing and sometimes that trauma and sometimes that pain is very, very, very painful. And a lot can go into when you want to uproot it and access it. That's why I'm saying get some therapy, get some help, heal yourself. And you don't have to do it alone. Do it with someone, a professional who is trained to be able to support you in that way. So that's that. So when it comes to marriage, and this is what I teach with my clients, is that even like when you're dating, most important thing is your self-care, and treat it as ritual and treat it as something to create boundaries around. Why? Because you have to be able to live in your own light and access your light and do the things that bring you your own joy and also help you to put yourself together. And so when you're doing these things, and you have lots of boundaries around your self-care, you're able to thrive in your relationship, and it prevents you from losing yourself in the relationship. Because if you lose yourself in the relationship, it's then like one complete person and then one half person just kind of like oozing on the other. And you want to be two complete people in relation to each other, relating to each other, whole, happy, and thriving. So that helped in the marriage too, because you want to keep doing the things that you did to get them. Okay, you don't want to just get them and then kind of like fall off, and because then your energy is off. When you're not taking care of yourself as a woman and doing the things that make you feel good, and that's different for every person. Some people, it's their hair. Some people like to wear makeup. Some people love lingerie. Some people love Pilates. Whatever it is that makes you feel like I am the bomb, you know. That's just a throwback phrase, but that's what came to me. You know, whatever makes you feel all the way put together, whatever makes you feel sexy, whatever makes you feel confident, you have to do those things, and on a consistent basis, because your confidence and your sensuality and your access to your sexuality is very important in the relationship. And when you're not taking care of yourself, you're not feeling sexy. When you're not feeling sexy, it's less likely that you're going to want to make love to your partner. And Men need sex. Women need sex too, but men need sex. And so that's why it's really important to take care of yourselves, to keep the energy, to keep the sexual fire going. Now, let's talk about children, because I know you're like, okay, Maya, that's great, but I got these kids. So one thing that I want you to remember, and that's a really important conversation to have with your partner, is that when you become a mother, remember this, when you become a mom, your brain changes. Your brain is no longer the same. It has parts of your children in it. It's just in your body. And our anatomy is designed to take care of our children. So that's why we have that long list in our head of like, what's going on, and did I get the diapers, and did I make the doctor's appointment, and did he eat, is he cold, is he hot? Like all of these things, I know you can relate, are running through your mind constantly, because our mental is designed that way to keep our babies alive. You know, we are mammals first, and so our mammalian brain is wired and connected to our children, which is why sometimes it can be hard to get sexy, to feel relaxed, to feel in your body, to feel connected to your partner, to feel connected to your sexuality when you're a mom, because you're thinking about your baby. Straight up. So this is the conversation, and this is what I want you to do with your partner. I want you to have the idea that you are, as a woman, are water, and your water needs to be warmed, it needs to simmer, and it needs to boil. And once it's boiling, that's when you're able to really blossom and make juicy love. So what is simmering? It's cuddling, it's connection, it's maybe words of affirmation if that's your thing. It's all of your love language and continuous caressing, continuous touching, continuous massage, and all those things, and building those moments without expectation, because there's so many demands on us as a mother. So your partner has to really like cuddle you and warm you up, and do things to warm you up, and do things to get your juices flowing, and do things to make you simmer, and do things to make you boil and get to that boiling point. And that's when you're able to make the most juicy love. But it takes longer as a mother, because your brain is literally wired and connected to your kids. So remember that, and tell your partner that. Like, hey, let's cuddle for a while, you know? And open communication, using your feminine communication skills, your I feel statements. Really, really important. Communication is key. And then when it comes to children, so this all ties back to self-care. When you are dehydrated, stressed out, hungry, tired, all of the above, you're not going to be the most patient woman with your kids. Probably going to snap. And that's okay, because we're human on this human journey. Give yourself grace. But also know that the better you take care of you, the better hydrated you are, and eating and nourishing yourself, the more patient and loving as a mom you show up for your children. So self-care, you might think, and we're indoctrinated in this society, that self-care is like being selfish. It's not. It's literally the way in which you can become the best version, the best mom that you can be. When you are well rested, when you're feeling beautiful, when you're taking care of yourself physically, I'm talking about doing some form of exercise every single week, or going for a walk, or doing something that brings you joy, but definitely doing something that moves your circulation, doing something to get out of your head, something physical in your body for you, those workouts, that yoga session, that dancing, Tai Chi, Pilates, whatever is your thing, you have to do it weekly. It makes you a better person. It makes you happier. It calms your central nervous system. It taps you into your body, and you show up as a better mom, more patient, more loving. And as a mom too, we have to really be in tune with our intuition and guide our motherhood journey with our intuition as well. And so I think that that is the key, is to really create your wellness schedule, your wellness rhythm. Stick to it, create boundaries around it. Like, look, I got Pilates in the morning, I'm putting my clothes out tomorrow night. That's it. Mommy's going to Pilates, or whatever your thing is. But I want you to truly, truly prioritize it, and you will show up. You'll see you're going to show up differently as a mom. And there's a learning curve. You know, we all go through it. We all go through those days when we're like, our babies are glowing and they're fed and they're happy and they bathe, and then you look at yourself and you're like, yo, I don't think I even showered yet. Like, you know, it happens to all of us, but we have to learn to truly, truly take care of ourselves and prioritize that self-care, and then create boundaries. Use your masculine energy to create boundaries around your self-care. Use your masculine energy to create that container so that your self-care, so that your feminine energy can thrive. Your masculine energy, think of it as a vase, and in that vase, that's when you're holding the water and the nutrients for your flower, which is your divine feminine, to bloom. Your masculine energy is the one that's going to be planning your self rituals, your self-care rituals. Your masculine energy is the one that's going to be boundaries around it, enforcing those boundaries every single time, because people will test you and you'll be like, nope, guess what? I'm going to my class. And you come back full of creativity, full of ideas, full of juice, full of sexy vibrancy. And that is what your partner is going to appreciate. And that's definitely what you're going to appreciate for yourself, and help you to be happy and more joyful and deal with stress, because we all have stress. We're all living in this life, and we're all managing stress on different levels. So when you're taking care of yourself and you're taking care of your body and you're doing your exercising, it helps you to manage stress in such a profound way. Stress is inevitable, but we have to manage it in a way that continues to support who we are, our integrity, and our goals for our life. So that's it. That's my take on the whole thing. If you're showing up in your masculine, don't feel shame around it. There's things that you can do to turn that around. If you learned how to be analytical, and you learned how to really, really thrive in your career, and you learned how to be great in education and to get your education, you learn those analytical masculine skills, you can also learn how to access your feminine energy. You can also learn how to be in that receiving mode, in that feminine receivership. And it's a beautiful place to be. And the best thing to be is in the balance between both, because we do need both. We need this for many things, and we need divine feminine for many things as well. So I wish you so much love on your journey, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace and love. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and send it to anyone you think needs to hear this message or could benefit from anything that I said. See you in the next video.